um, to below average CPC because you see, okay, you have a like relatively high ACOS. You want to lower the, bid to below average CPC in order to improve the ACOS. In this scenario, you would most likely even make the TACO, like the ACOS worse because you're cutting away like 80% of the revenue. So the problem with down only and bit optimization is the following concept, and I'll share the link of Prestazon or like now Helium 10 down below. But like, let's just imagine we have like our, bit spectrum. Let's say our max bid is like $1, you know, and thank you for appreciating my beautiful, art skills. But long story short, now, obviously with down only, we might have an, average CPC of, let's just say, 77 cents, right? 77 cents, just for the sake of the example. And now we have a distribution curve, right? Like if you are familiar with like statistics, so like a normal distribution curve just like looks like this, right? This just like stats 101. But long story short, why does this matter for bit optimization? So now this might look something like, this. And across this spectrum, again, beautiful artwork. And across the spectrum, like we have clicks here, 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 and here, 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 and maybe, yeah, like orders as well, but like we don't see in the advertising console, or like even, for example, let's say you have phrase and broad. Now you might have, you can see on search term level the distribution, of the data per search term, but even on search term level, you can't see the distribution of that search term across this distribution curve because, according to Amazon, for down only, for example, you might lower the bid, the algorithm might lower the bid, right? If the algorithm sees that there's a lower probability of conversion. But how the heuristic looks like or how the formula looks like, we don't know, right? Because it's a proprietary algorithm. But like the problem now is, okay, that when you optimize bids, let's say we have, so let's just imagine this scenario on keyword level. And so we have $50 spent, 39 clicks, 38.5, but you get the point, 150 sales, and 33 ACOS. Now, most people, not all people, but like most people in general, okay, would go ahead and lower the bid, of $1 to, like somewhere here underneath the, or like below the average CPC in order to improve the ACOS, But as we all know, ACOS is just, ad spend divided by ad sales. And now the problem is that you don't see on the distribution curve for, that keyword where majority of the sales are stemming from. Like, sure, if you have low data, like 2-3 clicks, you can kind of like, instinctually feel it. But if you have like 60, 70, 80 clicks in the last 7 days for a keyword, and like you don't really know where majority of the sales are coming from. Sure, like you can see it for the placements with an AMS integration, you can kind of like evaluate it, but most people don't have an like AMS integration. And like especially if you don't have an AMS integration and a single keyword campaign, you don't even know how that keyword is performing for the placements in a multi-keyword campaign. So in general, right, if we have like for product pages and for rest of search, if we get majority of the sales from there at a lower CPC, sure, like lower the bid in order to improve the ACOS. But at the end of the day, like the threat is, and you got to go case by case, right? I've seen every example. In general, like top of the search, right, has the higher click-through rate, higher conversion rate. It not always, but in general, like better, like roast. Obviously, also depends on the campaign, but you got to go case by case. But and in general, like rest of search, like rest of search and product detail pages usually has like higher ROAS, but lower volume when it comes to like click-through rate, but high volume when it comes to impressions, clicks, and like this generalization, right? That's just like the rule, but like obviously there's always an exception to the rule, but like the exception always validates the rule. Long story short, okay, the threat is now that potentially if you have majority of the conversions for top of the search and at a higher CPC range, which, some people might say, it's an unlikely scenario. Yeah, but like, do you have evidence? Do you have a data set to prove it to me? Because if not, you're assuming, but if you don't have data, then like your assumption is basically, like not, I don't want to say like worthless, right? But it's not grounded on an empirical data set, okay? Because the threat now is, let's imagine like, I don't know, like $80 came from above the average CPC, right? Because this is in general the clicks that are stemming from, the top of the search where we have a higher conversion rate in general, right? There's always an exception to the rule, yada, yada, yada. But let's say like, $122 of spend are coming, like, let's say like $35 are coming from below the average CPC, okay? Now, if you lower the bid to below average CPC, because you see, okay, you have a like relatively high ACOS, you want to lower the, bid to below average CPC in order to improve the ACOS. In this scenario, you would most likely even make the TACO, like the ACOS worse because you're cutting away like 80% of the revenue, right? So that is the threat of, basically, optimizing your bids with down only and with multi-keyword campaigns without an AMS integration. So yeah, like you just take that with a grain of salt, and like you just have to have a system where you correlate the changes in performance on keyword and search level, period over period, to your changes. So at the end of the day, the solution, which is not like really popular, but the solution is just fixed bits, because for fixed bits, you always know, okay, my average CPC is always my bit, yeah, and you always know for that CPC, I had a certain conversion rate, because like with down only, you don't even know, right? You might even have like, sure, you can kind of like evaluate it with the data and the placement data in granular single keyword campaigns, but you don't even know, maybe you have a better conversion rate for all the clicks that you got clicked on for 65 cents, right? Or you might have a higher conversion. You don't know anything at the end of the day. You don't know for what CPC you got majority of the clicks, because you only see the average. You don't know for what CPC you had the best conversion rate. So, that's just like why fixed bids is better, or like has benefits, and you have granular control and actually reliable data for fixed bits. So because you always know, okay, I converted for this CPC at that conversion rate. Yeah. And I know that I got all the revenue from, let's say, like $1, max bid. So just take that with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, everybody's always optimizing and lowering bits in here and there, but you have a system in place that tracks how the performance changed on keyword and search term level, period over period, and do you have a system that correlates your change to the change in performance? Take it with a grain of salt. Thank you for your time. See you next video.